Hello everyone and welcome back to the sessions on strategic financial management. Friends, in this class of CA Final SFM, we are going to talk about interest rate derivatives. This is an important concept within derivative topic and it is also classified in your syllabus as interest rate risk management. So whether you push it like a topic as interest rate derivative or you call it as interest rate risk management, it is one and the same. So first of all, what are interest rate derivatives? So in earlier classes we have learnt what is meant by a derivative. So when there is the interest rate underlying a derivative contract, it becomes interest rate derivative. In other words, a derivative contract in which the underlying factor is the interest rate, then such derivative contract are titled as interest rate derivatives. Now let me explain how this kind of instruments come into existence. The typical example of interest rate derivative would be forward rate agreement, which is the main subject matter of today's class. Forward rate agreement is basically an agreement that a party would make with a money lender or maybe bank or non-banking finance companies or any financial institution. So suppose I want to borrow and I approach a bank and I ask bank that what would be the interest rate if I have to borrow for a period of 5 years, and bank would quote some interest rate. However, I convey my request that I don't want to borrow right now, I want to borrow after 6 months. So basically I want to borrow after 6 months for a period of 5 years, but I am having a risk with respect to interest rate because interest rates are highly fluctuating. I want bank to commit an interest rate to me right today. That means when I am approaching a bank, I would request the bank that you please specify the interest rate that you would charge to me. Though I am not borrowing today, I am going to borrow after 6 months. So borrowings will initiate after 6 months, but I want the interest rate to be fixed today. In such case, if the bank agrees and a contract is made, it would be basically of the nature of a forward contract. Why? Because it is at a later date that the two parties have decided to do something. Here there is no purchase or sale activity, it is borrowing and lending activity. So bank has agreed to lend and I have agreed to borrow after 6 months, but at a rate which is fixed today. So it is definitely a forward contract. This type of forward contracts are classified as forward rate agreements or FRA. So forward rate agreements have multiple dimensions to deal with. It could be FRA, that is forward rate agreement, entered into with a speculative motive. It could be entered into for hedging the risk, as I have just explained you in that example, or it could simply be a contract for making arbitrage gain. That means arbitrage, speculation, hedging, everything can be achieved through FRA. Depends upon what is the party's objective. So when I approached the bank for borrowing after 6 months, but I wanted the interest rate to be fixed now, it was typically hedging objective. But entities will also have arbitrage or speculative objective when it comes to FRA, and we are going to learn all the aspects of FRA in this class, but that will come definitely later on. However, FRA is not the only interest rate derivative. There is a wider classification of interest rate derivative. You have interest rate futures, interest rate options, typically classified as caps, floors and collars. Then you have interest rate swaps. There are multiple interest rate derivative instruments. Some are over the counter type, some are dealt in the forex and derivative markets. So what I would want for you to understand is We will first deal with the classification of interest rate derivatives. We will then talk about the meaning of FRA, which I have already explained to you. Just a bit of notes writing should be done from your end. In fact, in today's class, I would have a lot of writing work for you, but as usual in all the classes, I will not provide additional time for you to write down the notes within this video. What you can do is, whenever I instruct you to write down something, you may just pause the video, note down the content and then resume the video. That is how you are going to go ahead. So let us first write up the classification of interest rate derivative, followed by explanation on FRA along with some calculative examples. And when it comes to calculative examples, let me be very clear, friends. Most students, when it comes to FRA, they mug up formulas and somehow they solve questions. I will be using the same formulas as well, but I will always provide an alternative mode of solution where it will be a logical approach to solve. So it should not happen that you just mug up the formula and apply the formula to make calculations. You should have logical clarity with respect to each and everything that you are going to solve in this FRA related content. So friends, when I am explaining those logics, I would want you to have patience, step by step approach, and my emphasis will be that you should write down all the notes and calculations properly. So as I have mentioned, I will not give you extra time to write. You should pause the video, write it down and resume the video. So let us start with whatever we have planned. We first take up the classification of interest rate derivatives. For your reference, I would just expand the screen size so that you can write everything clearly. Identify the classification of interest rate derivatives, and that will be forward rate agreement, interest rate futures, interest rate options, and caps, floors and collars are typical types of interest rate options. And then at the end we have interest rate swaps and swaptions. So friends, quickly take note of this classification and then we move with one category at a time. So please write this quickly. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this classification. Let us write up something more about the next concept that we have discussed, that is forward rate agreements, FRA. I have already explained you what is FRA. FRA is a contract that allows an entity to borrow or invest a certain amount of money at a certain specified date in future at an interest rate that is agreed today. So most important thing in this definition is you would want to borrow or invest a certain amount of money at a certain specified date in future. That means you don't want to borrow or invest now. You would want to borrow in future or invest in future, but at an interest rate which is agreed today. So let us take an example. X Limited enters into FRA with IDBI Bank on 1/4/2018 that it shall borrow from the bank at the rate of 12.5% per annum interest on which date? On 1/8/2018. That means the company has to borrow on 1/8/2018, but it has entered into the FRA contract on 1/4/2018, correct? So do one thing, whatever you find on screen, quickly write that as well, and then we start dealing with questions on FRA. Alright friends, you would have finished writing everything what is written on the screen. Now before we go to calculative examples, a small note of caution. Friends, I told you earlier as well, I don't want you to mug up the formulas. I will provide the formula based solutions, but I will also provide simultaneously a logical solution which must be followed. That is my sincere advice to all of you. And for understanding the application of FRA in terms of arbitrage, speculation or this hedging part, you must first learn how to determine FRA rate. and how to interpret FRA rate. So what we do is we first take up a calculative example, and through that example also I'll explain you a lot of stuff. So what you do is you take up concept number 35, that is determining forward rates or FRA rates, and for this purpose let us stick to example given on question number 97. This question says, consider the following: 6-month borrowing rate is 11.2% per annum, 12-month borrowing rate is 12.2% per annum. What should be 6-month FRA rate at 6-month forward, that is 6 by 12 FRA? So friends, before you solve this question, it is important that you should have clarity about what the question is exactly asking you and what the question is exactly informing you. Have you noticed that the question has given two different interest rates? One is the borrowing rate for 6 months and one is the borrowing rate for 12 months. Both the rates given over here are per annum rates, but one is for a shorter period, another is for the longer period. So if you are borrowing for a period of just 6 months, the interest rate will be 11.2% per annum. However, if you borrow for a longer period, that is 12 months, the interest rate will be 12.2% per annum. So if we draw a timeline, we can say from now, that is from 0 period to 6 months, the interest rate is 11.2% per annum, and from now, that is 0 period to 12 months, the interest rate is 12.2% per annum. So when they say 6 by 12 FRA, it means your borrowing will not start now, your borrowing will start after 6 months, and that borrowing will end at 12 months. So it is basically a borrowing for a 6-month period. In other words, if you have to borrow after 6 months for a period of 6 months, I repeat, if you have to borrow for 6 months and you have to borrow after 6 months, it will be technically called as 6 by 12 FRA. So it is this way. If you draw a timeline, it will be 0 date, 6 months and 12 months. So 0 date, 6 months, 12 months, if that is the timeline, today you are just entering into the FRA agreement, FRA contract. Today you are not borrowing. Your borrowing will initiate not today but after 6 months from now. So your borrowing will initiate after 6 months from now, and your borrowings will terminate after 12 months from now. So from now, after 6 months your borrowing starts, and from now after 12 months your borrowings ends. That means your borrowal period is 6-month end to 12th month end, that is borrowing is for the period of 6 months only. So I repeat this one line once again. If you want to borrow after 6 months for a period of 6 months, technically it is mentioned like this, that it is 6 by 12 FRA. Borrowings will initiate after 6 months from now and will terminate after 12 months from now. Now friends, what is to be done? I will first show you a formula based calculation to compute that FRA rate, and then we will logically derive the same thing, and I want you to carefully note down all the calculations. So let us see how to present the solution. When you put up a solution, you would first write up a formula, that is FRA rate equals to R2 into T2 minus R1 into T1 whole upon 1 plus R1 into T1 into T2 minus T1. So now obviously you might wonder what are all these variables for. So let me explain you each of these variables. R2 and T2. 2 here represents the longer time. Longer time was 12 months, correct? So R2, this is the rate of interest applicable for borrowing of 12 months, and T2 is the longer period of time, that is 12 months. R1 is the rate of interest applicable for a 6-month borrowing, and T1 is the shorter period of borrowing, that is 6 months. So R2 in our example is 12.2%, T2 is 12 months, R1 is 11.2%, T1 is 6 months. Just be careful about one thing, T1 and T2, which are representing the time frames, we should not write it as 6 and 12, we should write it as 0.5 and 1, because we have to write up T over here as time in years. So R2 will be 12.2%, T2 will be 1 year, R1 will be 11.2%, T1 will be 0.5 year. In the denominator we again have the same variables, so I don't have to again explain what are these variables standing for. So let us substitute the values of these variables over here. R2 12.2% written as 0.122, T2 1 year written simply as 1, minus sign, and then within brackets R1 into T1. R1 was 11.2% expressed as 0.112, T1 is half year, that is 0.5. Thereafter whole upon 1 plus R1 into T1, so 1 plus 0.112 into 0.5, and finally this last part within brackets T2 minus T1, that is 1 minus 0.5. Now what you do, in the numerator 0.122 into 1 will give you 0.122 as it is, and 0.112 into 0.5 you should get 0.056. In the denominator this part will still be 0.056, and added 1 to that it will be 1.056, and this part will be 1 minus 0.5, that will be 0.5. So when you apply the calculations, it is 0.122 minus 0.056 divided by 1.056 into 0.5, and when you make these calculations what you get is 0.066 divided by 0.528, and when you make that calculation finally what you get is 0.125 or 12.5% per annum. This is the FRA rate. Now first do one thing, write up all these calculations, and then I take you to the logical calculation of this FRA rate. So first write up this thing what appears on the screen. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. Let us now move ahead and determine this FRA rate logically. Assume that you are going to borrow rupees 1 lakh for a period of 6 months only. So if you borrow 1 lakh for a period of 6 months, what will be the final amount that you have to pay back with interest? So you have borrowed 1 lakh for a period of 6 months. Obviously the applicable rate will be 11.2% per annum as given in the question. So let us work out the maturity value. So it will be 1 lakh into 11.2% into 6 by 12, that will be the interest amount. When added to the principal, the maturity value comes to 1,05,600. That means if you borrow 1 lakh for a period of 6 months at this rate of 11.2% per annum, it would become 1,05,600. However, if you borrow 1 lakh for a little longer period, that is for a period of 12 months, the applicable interest rate is 12.2% per annum, and that is applicable for 12 months, correct? Now what would be the maturity value or the future value of this 1 lakh? If 1 lakh is borrowed at 12.2% for 12 months, it will be having maturity value of 1,12,200. Do you understand one thing, that both of these values are the present values, and this is the future value after 6 months, and this is the future value after 12 months from now. So if you would want to borrow after 6 months, the value after 6 months is 1,05,600, and we don't know at what interest rate, but we know that this amount after another 6 months would get a maturity value of 1,12,200. So we have 3 different values, right? Current value of 1 lakh, value after 6 months 1,05,600, current value of 1 lakh, value after 12 months 1,12,200. So if the value is 1,05,600 after 6 months at some interest rate for 6 months, it would become 1,12,200. So simply you have to answer the question mark value over here. So in simple words, if you borrow 1,05,600 after 6 months for a period of 6 months, the maturity value of that borrowing must be 1,12,200. So you just have to find that rate of interest. Now how would you do that? Simple logic is P1 minus P0 divided by P0. So the question mark value will be 1,12,200 minus 1,05,600 divided by 1,05,600. That will be the interest rate, but that interest rate will be for 6 months. To convert that into per annum, we would multiply by 12 by 6, and you can use your calculator and check it. It will be exactly 12.5% per annum. So friends, do one thing, don't rush up writing what you find on screen. Take your time. I am giving you a lot of time. Take your time, write down each calculation carefully by understanding it, and once you are clear with this whole thing, then I will give you description about the whole content what you have written. Please write up what you find on screen right now. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. Now whether the case is of borrowing or investment, it does not make any difference at all. You can still make the calculation of FRA rate in the same way. Let me now explain you from investment viewpoint. Okay, though the question is giving from borrowing viewpoint, it does not matter. As I said, you can take it from investment angle. For example, if you invest rupees 1 lakh today for a period of 6 months at this interest rate, this is the maturity value that you will obtain after 6 months. You know how we have computed this, right? It is 1 lakh into 11.2% into 6 by 12, and that would give you the interest amount. Interest added to principal, it will become maturity value of 1,05,600. If you invest 1 lakh for a period of 12 months, it would become 1,12,200 at 12.2% per annum. That means this is the future value of 1 lakh after 6 months from now, and this is the future value of 1 lakh after 12 months from now. So both of these in terms of future value are at parity. That means this future value, which is a value after 6 months, must become 1,12,200 after another 6 months. That means if you invest 1,05,600 for a period of 6 months, after 6 months from now, at some interest rate, it would become 1,12,200. So what should be that interest rate? That is what we have logically calculated over here. So friends, in examination, if you just write up these calculations, you will not be rewarded marks. You have to then write some description. Those descriptions I am going to provide you definitely. You can write a descriptive answer. There is no mandate on using the formula, but by using the formula, your calculations become quicker. So let me show you those descriptions. You write even that description, and then you can decide what approach you would want to follow ahead. So that description part comes this way. If rupees 1 lakh deposited now, once again I have taken the viewpoint of depositing now. Okay, you can write it borrowers also, no problem. So if rupees 1 lakh deposited now at 11.2% per annum for 6 months, the resulting maturity value will be rupees 1,05,600. I have shown the working how we got 1,05,600. If rupees 1 lakh deposited now at 12.2% per annum for 12 months, the resulting maturity value will be 1,12,200. It is implied that after 6 months from now, if rupees 1,05,600 is deposited for 6 months, the resulting maturity value must be 1,12,200. That is why we then relate this and this value, and this is P1, this is P0. So P1 minus P0 divided by P0 would give you the interest rate applicable for that 6-month period after 6 months from now. And by calculation, we have already logically seen that it comes to 12.5% per annum. So friends, do one thing, write this description also, and then we shall move ahead. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. Let us move ahead and take up the next question, that is question number 98. Let us read this. It says, consider the following. 3-month borrowing rate is given as 11.2% per annum and 6-month borrowing rate is given as 12% per annum. What should be 3-month FRA rate at 3 months forward, that is 3/6 FRA? Friends, never forget how to interpret this line of 3/6 FRA. 3/6 FRA means you would want to borrow or invest after 3 months from now and for a period of 3 months only. That means your borrowing or investment begins after 3 months and ends after 6 months from now. So your period of borrowing or investment will be just for 3 months only. So how do you solve this? We write up the same formula, correct? FRA rate equals to R2 into T2 minus R1 into T1 whole upon 1 plus R1 into T1 into T2 minus T1. Same way, the way we have done earlier, we are going to substitute all the values of variables over here, and when we make the calculations, we would get that interest rate as 12.45% per annum. So friends, I want you to please use your calculator, check all values, don't just copy the figures from the screen. Use your calculator, use your understanding and then calculate this. Now first write this and then I'll once again show you how to logically determine this interest rate. But first write down what you find on screen. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this formula and the calculations. Now do one thing. After this, we would write up the logic behind this calculation and we would logically determine this 12.45%. In the same way as we did earlier. Same way, consider a sum of rupees 1 lakh that we would want to borrow today for a period of 3 months only. So now pick your calculator. Consider 1 lakh as the principal amount. Rate of interest as 11.2% and consider that as 3 months time. So it will be 1 lakh into 11.2% into 3/12. Check what is the interest amount you are getting. Add that interest to this principal amount of 1 lakh and tell me what comes as the maturity value. Obviously, your answer of maturity value should be 1,02,800. Now again take that same 1 lakh and now borrow it for a period of 6 months, a longer period, and for that the applicable rate is given as 12% per annum, correct? So if you are borrowing 1 lakh for a period of 6 months at the rate of 12% per annum, how would you compute the interest? 1 lakh into 12% into 6/12, correct? And that would give you maturity value of 1 lakh plus 6,000, that is 1,06,000. So if this is the maturity value of borrowing after 3 months and this is the maturity value of the borrowing after 6 months, that means it is implied that if after 6 months you borrow this sum, that is 1,02,800 for a period of next 3 months at some interest rate, its maturity value should be 1,06,000. Now same thing, find the value of this question mark. So this is considered as P1, this is P0. So P1 minus P0 divided by P0. So the question mark value will be the FRA interest rate. So FRA rate this time, and this time because what you are computing is for 3 months, we want a per annum rate. The fraction of time that we have multiplied over here is 12/3 and this you get obviously as 12.45% per annum. So friends, please understand this and write it up and then we shall move ahead. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. So whether the case is of borrowing or a case of making a deposit, the logic remains same, the answer will be same. So let me give you description by taking the viewpoint of making a deposit. So if rupees 1 lakh deposited now at 11.2% per annum for 3 months, the resulting maturity value will be rupees 1,02,800. And how we got 1,02,800? We have written. Similarly, if it is for 6 months, the maturity value will be 1,06,000 with interest rate of 12% per annum. And finally, you can write that it is implied that after 3 months, the value of 1,02,800 will be matching with the value of 1,06,000 after 6 months. That means if after 3 months you deposit 1,02,800 for a period of 3 months, it should become 1,06,000. So logically you just have to find the interest rate between those two values. So write up this as well. And I don't want you to write this kind of descriptive answer in exam, but once again, just for your better understanding, write it up. I am giving you time. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. Let us move ahead and take up the next question, that is question number 99. Let us read this question. It says, consider the following. 3-month borrowing rate is 11.2% per annum. 3-month FRA rate at 3-month forward, that is 3/6 FRA is 12% per annum. What should be 6-month borrowing rate? Now see, this time they have given you 3-month borrowing rate. They have given you 3-month FRA rate for 3-month forward. That means 3/6 FRA is also given. You have to determine the interest rate that will be applicable for a 6-month borrowing period. So now this is going to be very simple. What we do is, if we borrow 1 lakh today for 3 months, the interest rate will be 11.2% per annum, and that will have maturity value of 1,02,800. And using 3/6 FRA rate, we can say if after 3 months you are borrowing 1,02,800, its maturity value will be 1,05,884. Let me explain how we got this value. This is the amount borrowed after 3 months at 12% per annum, because 12% is the FRA rate given, correct? So it will be 1,02,800 into 12% into 3/12. Whatever interest you get, add that to 1,02,800, and what you will get is the maturity value of 1,05,884. In simple words, if you are borrowing 1 lakh today, the maturity value after 6 months, 3 plus 3, 6 months, should be 1,05,884. Same value. Okay. So we don't know what is the interest rate prevailing for this 6 months time. So simple again, this is P1, this is P0, P1 minus P0 divided by P0. So that will be 1,05,884 minus 1 lakh divided by 1 lakh, and because this will be the interest for 6 months, to annualize it, in other words to convert it into a per annum rate, we multiply by the time factor of 12/6, and what we get is 11.768% per annum. So friends, note down this whole thing and then we shall move ahead. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. Let us move ahead and take up the next concept, that is concept of arbitrage through FRA. Here it is given that the following market data is available. They have given quote of USD and JPY as 116. So it is implied that it is quote of USD in terms of JPY as 116. So they have also given deposit rates for 3 months and 6 months. You can see for Japanese yen, the deposit rate is same, correct, whether it is 3 months time or 6 months time, but for USD it is definitely different. Forward rate agreement, that is FRA for yen, is nil. That means bank is not offering any FRA quotations for JPY. And now they are asking what should be 3-month FRA rate at 3-month forward. 3-month FRA rate at 3-month forward means they are basically asking you 3/6 FRA rate. So friends, this point onward you should not depend upon me. You can see 3-month deposit rate is 4.5%, 6-month deposit rate is 5%. Both of these rates are obviously per annum rates. Through these two rates you are going to determine the FRA rate, correct? if you have to determine FRA rate, I have already explained you how to do it. You can do this on your own. This time you should not be dependent upon me. The new thing in this question is this point, right? The 6 and 12 month LIBOR are 5% and 6.5% respectively. A bank is quoting 6 by 12 USD FRA at 6.5 to 6.75%. Is any arbitrage opportunity available? Calculate profit in such case. So friends, it is the second part of the question where you will need my help. So what I want you to do, I would want you to take few minutes of time and compute FRA rate on your own. So what you should ideally do is pause this video and compute the FRA rate on your own for the first part. Once you do that, then you should continue with the video and check whether you have done correct or not. So this is my sincere advice. Pause the video, make the calculation on your own. Do that now. Alright, I believe either you have already attempted the calculations or you have been little lazy to work it out on your own and still wanting my help. Either case, I show you the solution for the first part now. So do one thing. We will determine the 3-month FRA rate for 3 months forward. In other words, this is 3 by 6 FRA rate. And I am taking $1 lakh as the base amount. If $1 lakh deposited now at 4.5% per annum for 3 months, the resulting maturity value will be $1 lakh 1,125. You know how it is being computed and the working has been shown over there. If $1 lakh deposited now at 5% per annum for 6 months, the resulting maturity value will be 1 lakh 2,500, and that will be again worked out by taking the principal plus interest over there. So do one thing, write up this much and then I take you ahead. And if you have already done, just verify that you have done the calculations correctly. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. Let us now connect these two values of future and work out the FRA rate, and you know how to do it, right? We will consider 1,02,500 as P1 and 1,01,125 as P0, and 3 by 6 FRA can be determined as P1 minus P0 divided by P0, and you will adjust the same for the time, correct? Whatever interest you get, it is for 3 months. To identify that in terms of per annum, we have multiplied the time factor of 12 by 3, and that comes to 5.44% per annum. So note down this and then we move ahead with the second part of the question. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this as well. Let us now move to the second part of the question. In the second part of the question, they have given you 6-month rate and 12-month rates of LIBOR. That means borrowing and investing rate for 6 months and 12 months given. You should work out a 6 by 12 FRA rate, which will be a fair FRA rate, and then we would compare that with the actual FRA rate quoted by the bank. So let us do the simple part first. Let us first work out the 6 by 12 FRA rate. So through the LIBORs, and I don't have to explain you know how to do it. So if you could do that on your own, that is fantastic. If you don't want to do it on your own, the calculations are there in front of you. Note it down. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. So now what we have worked out in this calculation, 1,02,500 is the maturity value after 6 months. 1,06,500 is the maturity value after 12 months. We can connect these two. We can identify this as P1 and this as P0 and work out the FRA rate. That is 6 by 12 FRA rate. How to do that? You know it very well again. So 1,02,500, if you borrow or deposit after 6 months for a period of 6 months, the maturity value will be 1,06,500. So that FRA rate will be determined by taking 1,06,500 minus 1,02,500 divided by 1,02,500 into 100 for percentage and into 12 by 6, because you would want to find that rate in terms of per annum, and that final answer comes to 7.8% per annum. Note down this and then we shall move ahead. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this as well. So what we have just worked out, 7.8% per annum is the fair FRA rate. Now we will compare this with the bank's FRA rate, bank rate which is quoted. What we find that the bank's FRA rate, if you look into the question, it is much less than this, right? So we would conclude, as the fair FRA goes out of the range of actual FRA quoted by bank, arbitrage opportunity definitely exists. So what we would do is, we would compare that 7.8% with the higher rate quoted by bank. If you look into the bank's rate, it is 6.5% to 6.75%, correct? Let me do one thing. Let me take your notice back to the question. Alright, here is the question, right? So look into one thing. 6.5 to 6.75 is the range of rate quoted by bank. It is implied that 6.5% per annum is applicable for depositing and 6.75% is the rate applicable for borrowing. This is just in the format of money market rate, correct? The earlier rate, the lower rate will be for investments or deposits, and the higher rate will be applicable for borrowing. That means if we invest or deposit our money with bank, it will be 6.5%, and if we borrow, it will be 6.75%. Now see what happens. If the fair FRA would have come within this range, there was absolutely no arbitrage opportunity possible, no chance of arbitrage if it is between this range. However, if it goes out of the range to the higher side or to the lower side, both way we will have arbitrage opportunity. So now the question arises, how will we plan the arbitrage? So 6.75% is the rate applicable for borrowing. We will borrow at this rate, and at 7.8% we will invest. That means we will borrow at this actual FRA rate and we will invest at the fair FRA rate that we have computed. How to do that? Don't bother about it. In simple words, what we do is, the cheaper rate is the rate at which we would borrow and the higher rate is the rate at which we would invest. Inversely, suppose that rate would have been computed as 5.8%, we would have been better off by borrowing at that rate and investing at the bank rate. That time the bank rate will not be 6.75%, that time it will be 6.5%. So if it is a rate falling to the lower side of this range, we would compare with the deposit rate of 6.5. If it goes outside the range, higher side, we compare with 6.75%. So in this case, what we would do simply is, we would agree to borrow at the bank's FRA rate and invest at FRA rate that we have determined as 7.8% per annum. So let us continue back with the solution. So here again we are back to the solution. We would say, as the fair FRA goes out of the range of actual FRA quoted by the bank, an arbitrage opportunity definitely exists. The arbitrage strategy will be to borrow at bank FRA rate, that is at 6.75% per annum, and invest the same at fair FRA rate, that is 7.8%, derived through the given LIBOR rates. Now how this would work, we will plan the arbitrage process properly. First, write up this much quickly. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. So here begins the arbitrage process. First step, you borrow $1 lakh at 5% per annum for 6 months. Resulting obligation after 6 months will be $1,02,500. Invest that same $1 lakh at 6.5% per annum for 12 months. Resulting maturity value after 12 months will be $1,06,500. So friends, as I told you, for the shorter period you borrow and for the longer period you invest. because of combination of these two steps, what would happen for the 6 months, the initial 6 months you have borrowed as well as invested, everything gets nullified. So your money stays invested only for the later 6 months, correct? Now the maturity value of your borrowing is 1,02,500 and this you have to repay after 6 months. To repay this, you would need 1,02,500. So your third step would be enter into 6/12 FRA contract with bank to borrow at 6.75% per annum for 6 months. After 6 months from now, that will be sum of 1,02,500. So your plan should be to utilize the proceeds of this borrowing to repay the LIBOR loan, which will become due after 6 months. So do one thing, write up the first 3 steps and then we shall move ahead. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this much. Let us move ahead, and after the first 3 steps we would have a waiting period of 6 months, and thereafter what we would do is we have to perform 2 steps. So one is execute the FRA by accepting FRA loan of $1,02,500 which we have agreed to borrow at 6.75%, and what you do is utilize this proceeds to repay your LIBOR loan. So utilize the proceeds of FRA loan, that is 1,02,500, to repay 6-month LIBOR loan, which has also the maturity value of 1,02,500. After this much, you will then wait again for 6 months and then you close all the proceedings. So first of all, write this much quickly. Alright friends, you would have written these 2 steps as well. Let us move ahead and follow up the later part of the process, which will again be happening after next 6 months. Now what you do is the maturity value of your LIBOR deposit will be 1,06,500 and the bank's FRA loan will be 1,02,500 plus 6.75% per annum for 6 months, and that would give you maturity value of 1,05,959. And finally the arbitrage gain will be inflow of 1,06,500 minus outflow of 1,05,959. So finally $541 is your arbitrage gain. So note down this as well, and that will be end of the solution. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. So this was the concept of arbitrage through FRA rates. Now let us learn speculation through FRA. And let us do one thing, we take a very nice comprehensive example to understand this whole matter. And again, I would want you not to stay dependent on the formulas. You should be logically able to make the calculations. So please concentrate on this example. You expect that interest rate will rise up in coming 3 months and want to take advantage of this rising interest rate. For this purpose, you should buy FRA contract that will be effective after 3 months from now. So buying an FRA means what? So let us clarify. Buying FRA would imply that you agree to borrow at the FRA rate. That is the typical meaning of buying an FRA. So if you want to invest at FRA rate, you would be selling an FRA. Here we are buying an FRA means we are willing to borrow. So friends, do one thing. Quickly write what you find on screen and then I take you ahead. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. Let us move ahead and now take up some more calculative content. Assume that you wish to borrow rupees 1 lakh after 3 months for a period of 6 months. So FRA contract will allow you to borrow at contracted FRA rate irrespective of interest rate prevailing after 3 months. 6-month FRA rate at 3 month forward, that is 3/9 FRA. So understand, it is 6-month FRA rate at 3 month forward. That means you would want to borrow after 3 months for a period of 6 months. So we generally call it as 3/9 FRA, is quoted by bank at 12% per annum. Assume that after 3 months the interest rate prevailing in the market is 13.2%. Determine the amount of gain made by buying this FRA. So friends, do one thing. this whole content what you find on screen, first you write it down. I will then show you calculation by using formula and then by using simple logic, both. So first write down this example. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole example. Let us now first put up a formula and work out the settlement amount using that formula. So as per the formula, the settlement amount is N into RR minus FR into T divided by 1 plus RR into T. Let us define the variables. N stands for notional principal, RR is the reference rate, FR is the FRA rate, and T is time in years. When you substitute all these values, the notional amount of loan was 1 lakh. RR is the reference rate. Reference rate is the actual rate that prevails when the period of borrowing begins. That was 13.2%. And FR stands for the FRA rate that you have agreed with the bank, that was 12% per annum. And this 6 by 12 is the time for your borrowing, right? 6 months, 6 by 12. Time will be expressed in years, that is why it is 6 by 12. And then 1 plus RR into T, 1 plus reference rate into time. So friends, what you do is you work out this calculation and you will find it is in the numerator 600 divided by, in the denominator, 1.066, and that works out to rupees 562.85. Now friends, nobody will ever understand what calculation this is and what is the logic behind all this calculation. You will not follow at all, because this is just a formula based working. Now in examination, I would strongly recommend you to follow this formula based approach. It will save a lot of your time. But in the class, you should learn the entire logic behind this whole calculation. So do one thing, first write up this and then I explain you the logic behind the same. Alright friends, you would have finished writing these calculations. Now let us go into the core logic of this. Okay, please carefully first understand, I'll then give you time to write. So after 3 months, you would want to borrow 1 lakh for a period of 6 months, and the agreed FRA rate with the bank was 12% per annum. That means you would pay rupees 1,06,000 on maturity. So you are borrowing 1 lakh and you will repay 1,06,000, correct? Now after 3 months, if you would have borrowed 1 lakh without the FRA contract, this 1 lakh if you would have borrowed without FRA, do you think you would have obtained 12% opportunity? Answer is no. In that case, you will not pay interest at 12%. You will pay interest at what rate? You will pay interest at 13.2% per annum, correct? If you are going to pay interest at 13.2% per annum, obviously you are going to pay more amount on maturity. So you are going to pay 1,06,600. I'm sure you understand this. Because of FRA, if you borrow 1 lakh, you would repay 1,06,000. Without FRA, if you borrow 1 lakh, you would have repaid 1,06,600. So basically, what is the gain resulting on termination, that is after 6 months? So after 6 months, because of FRA, you have made a net saving of rupees 600. Are you following the simple calculation? Now, if this is the gain, when is this gain going to arise? It is after the borrowing is completed, right? Because interest is payable always at the end. If interest is payable at the end, this 600 of gain you are making at the end of 6 months. Let us do one thing. Let us simply compute the present value of this 600. The present value of this gain would be 600 divided by 1 plus I. For considering the interest rate for determining present value, we will consider whatever is the prevailing rate in the market, and prevailing rate in the market is 13.2% per annum. If it is 13.2% per annum, that is for 1 year, for 6 months it will be half of this, and half of this is 6.6%. So what you do is this 600 you divide by 1 plus interest rate, and for 6 month effective interest rate will be 6.6%. So the present value of your gain will be 600 divided by 1 plus interest rate, that is 1 plus 6.6%, or simply 1 plus 0.66 or 1.066, and when you compute that you get exactly 562.85. Under speculative FRA contract that will be effective after 3 months from now, you will simply receive the present value, that is 562.85, from the counterparty. Now friends, what you find on screen is the simple logic behind that settlement amount formula. This is what I want you to understand, and friends, this thing you have to revise it very well today without fail, because in exam we are not going to write everything in details like this. We will be better off by using the formula, but you should definitely know this logic what we have discussed. So time for you to note down this whole thing, and then we shall move ahead. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this. Let us move ahead and take up another question, that is question number 101. Now what is given over here? Messrs Parker and Company is contemplating to borrow an amount of rupees 60 crores for a period of 3 months in the coming 6 months time from now. The current rate of interest is 9% per annum, but it may go up in 6 months time. The company wants to hedge itself against the likely increase in interest rate. The company's banker quoted an FRA at 9.3% per annum. What will be the effect of FRA and actual rate of interest cost to the company if the actual rate of interest after 6 months happens to be 9.6% per annum and 8.8% per annum? So the question has given you two possibilities. Under both the possibilities, we would want to find out the settlement amount which would indicate either the gain or a loss. So friends, please try to understand this line of the question. Company wants to borrow for a period of 3 months in coming 6 months time from now. So it will be basically 6/9 FRA, correct? So in the question, the rate of interest quoted by bank is 9%, and the reference rate at one place is given as 9.6%, and at other place it is given as 8.8%, and we have agreed to borrow at 9. So if the reference rate is 9.6%, obviously we will make gain, and if the reference rate is 8.8%, we will incur loss. So let us see how to present the solution. In the solution, we would first write up the settlement amount formula. We would define all these variables exactly the way we have seen in the earlier example, and then substitute the value of each of these variables in that formula and make the calculation and arrive at the settlement amount. This, what you find, is the outcome of case 1. So the case 1 results into a gain of rupees 4,39,453. Note down this and then I take you ahead. Alright friends, that was case 1. Now let us move to the second case, where the settlement amount formula remains the same. Okay, you just have to now substitute the different values. Basically only one value is changing, the reference rate. Other things remain same in the question, and this time it is a case of loss, and the amount of loss is rupees 7,33,855. Note down this as well, and that will be end of the solution. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this. That was the end of the solution, and let us now move ahead, and we have one question left over from the FRA part, where it was the speculative FRA. So question number 102, let us read that. TM FinCorp has bought a 6/9 rupees 100 crore forward rate agreement, that is FRA at 5.25%. On the fixing date, reference rate, that is MIBOR, turns out to be as follows. So now we have MIBOR applicable for 3 months, 6 months and 9 months, and you are required to determine the profit or loss to TM FinCorp in terms of basis points, and the settlement amount, assume 360 days in a year. Now friends, this kind of speculative FRA, it is very easy. You are not dependent on my help to solve this question for you. But let us see, what is this 6/9 FRA interpreted as? Your borrowing will start after 6 months and will end after 9 months. That means borrowing is meant for a period of 3 months only. That is why when the FRA reference rate is opened up, you would take 5.5% because that is applicable for a 3-month borrowing period, correct? So after 6 months, your borrowing begins and your borrowing ends at 9th month. That means the borrowing will be for a duration of 3 months only. So FRA rate you have agreed at 5.25%, but the reference rate is 5.5%. By entering into FRA rate, you have saved 0.25%, correct? And that is, you have made benefit of 25 basis points. And then in the later part of the calculation, you compute by value what is the amount of benefit. So this is very simple. Let us see how to present the solution. So profit or loss to TM FinCorp in terms of basis point, FRA rate is 5.25%, reference rate is 5.5%, and that is for 6/9 FRA. So as reference rate is greater than FRA rate, profit will be in terms of basis points as 5.5 minus 5.25%, that will be 0.25%, or you may call it as 25 basis points. Now the settlement amount formula you have learnt. I have explained you logically the calculation, how it is to be made, and just to make the calculation quicker, you may write up this formula. You have learned this formula in the earlier session already. So let us define the variables. N is the notional principal, that is rupees 100 crores. RR is the reference rate, that is 5.5% per annum. FR is the forward rate or FRA rate, that is 5.25%. And T stands for the time remaining for maturity, or the time where the borrowing would remain outstanding. That will be for 90 days, but we will be writing the time in terms of years. That is why we will be taking time as 90 by 360 in terms of days. So do one thing, write up this whole thing, and then we apply the values of the variables in the settlement amount formula and arrive at the correct amount of settlement. But let us first write up what you find on screen. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. Now let us put the value of these variables in the settlement amount formula. You know this very well, you have been practicing this quite a lot of times. Let us work out the final calculation. What you get is profit of rupees 6,16,523. So conclusion is TM FinCorp earns a profit of rupees 6,16,523 because of this FRA. So note down this as well, and that will be end of the solution. Alright friends, you would have finished writing this whole thing. So that is all about FRA contracts that we have discussed in this class. So the concept of interest rate derivative, however, doesn't get over with this. There are other segments, as we have seen in the classification part. We have interest rate options, we have interest rate swaps, interest rate futures. So those concepts you will be finding in the other videos of mine. So please stay tuned and keep watching my videos for more and more clarity of concepts. So we put this as end of the session. Thank you so much for attending this class.